Hey friends, welcome back to another video. So glad you're here. And I wanted to answer a question that I've been asked, and I thought it was really interesting because it got me to thinking about all the different reasons. So the question is, if minerals are so important, why is it more talked about? Why is it something that a lot of people really don't know a lot about? So, the first thing I wanted to say is that if you ask anybody who knows anything about nutrition or human physiology, they will agree that minerals are very foundational to human health. And something else I would say is that we are talking about it and we're saying, take this mineral supplement, just take something that's like broad based with all the basic minerals that you need and be done with it. But the reality is that minerals are more nuanced than that. But basically, I'll get back to that later. The gist is that people think that you just take a mineral supplement and you're fine, which is going to be helpful, but it's not the full story. Another reason why minerals aren't as well known as they should be, and given the credit they should be getting, is because when we're talking about the medical model, their tools of the trade and the way that they work is they look at labs, blood labs, other labs to look for different areas of deficiency, and they're looking at a population of people who are already sick. So that's your average of sick people before you get medicated. That is basically how the medical model works. And also, maybe surgery or chemo or radiation or any of those things. If something's broken, of course, they're going to mend it. And so those are the tools that doctors are using. So minerals are not part of the tools of the trade. And also, you can't make money off of it. That's the other thing. When you're talking about mineral deficiencies, it's a lot nutrition based and also some supplementation of individual minerals, but mostly it's about nutrition and also lifestyle. And those are not things you can bottle up and sell. And so there's no profit that you can make from talking about minerals relative to a lot of other modalities, even with functional medicine. Um, we recommend supplements and protocols often based on functional labs, but with minerals a lot of it is about lifestyle. Now functional medicine, we do talk about lifestyle, but there, I guess it also depends on the practitioner that's running your hair tissue and mineral analysis, about the amount of labs that they offer. And that's the other thing, that there's not a lot of practitioners that are trained in hair tissue and mineral analysis at this moment. We're more of a specialized group, but it's actually growing. I'm just seeing more and more practitioners begin to understand how fundamental your mineral balancing is. And so I'm seeing more practitioners that have been seasoned in doing, functional medicine, integrative care for a really long time, now beginning to learn about how to help people with their mineral balance. And that's something tricky because not every training of hair tissue and mineral analysis is the same. It's very nuanced. You don't just look at an amount and say, well, this mineral is high, so I'm going to decrease that mineral. And then this other one is low, so that means there's a deficiency. It's very contextual, it's very nuanced, and so it's more complex than you would think. And so I think that practitioner training is another reason, qualified practitioners, is another reason that you're not hearing a lot about the hair tissue and mineral analysis. Something else is that it's not very sexy. I mean, talking about lifestyle isn't as, and minerals and mineral balancing and how minerals are the spark plugs to your body, and the fact that if you don't have your minerals balanced, then nothing else works that well because you don't have the energy to respond to any inputs you're giving into your body. Now, this includes, any kind of nutrients, because if your body can't digest and bring it in and absorb it, you need energy to create the enzymes that make any functions in your body occur. You need minerals to create cellular energy. You need minerals to tell hormones what to do. All of these things matter. You need minerals to create digestion, the ability to have acids in your body that can break down and absorb your food. And so without any of these on board, none of the other sexy things are going to work as well. Exercise, the best nutrition, doing things to try and balance your blood sugar, and even hormones, right? In midlife, one of the main things that we worry about is our hormones. But the thing, and then literally that's sexier than minerals, right? But the thing is, if you don't have your minerals balanced, hormones will not be able to be optimized. And even if you have your hormones on board and it's helping you, it's if you don't have cellular energy, that boost that you're getting from the hormones will be at minute. I mean, it's going to be short-lived, right? Or it's not going to be optimized. So balancing your minerals will make everything work better at the end of the day. And so the other reason why people aren't looking at minerals is because we're busy chasing symptoms. Most notably in midlife, we're having, blood sugar imbalances, and we're having weight gain, and our thyroid is slowing down. So we're checking the thyroid, we're checking at, calorie in, calorie out. We're trying to do high intensity interval training. We're trying to lift weights, and we're bringing on the hormones, because when you are in midlife, your hormones have been protecting you from all of these things that have already been occurring underneath it all. Like, it's actually protecting us from bone loss and energy and blood sugar imbalances. But when hormones are decreasing or kind of bouncing up and down, all of these symptoms that the hormones were trying to cover up suddenly become very, very present. And you could put hormones back into your body, and that will help. And that's why a lot of people find it effective. But at some point, it stops working, or it's not working as well as you would like, because you're still underlying all of these gaps are occurring in metabolic health, in minerals, and energy production. So if you bring in minerals and you make it a part of mineral balancing, a part of your self-care routine, then everything you're trying will work better. And also, if it's nuanced, as I said, so finding the right practitioner is really important. What does that mean? So it's a practitioner who understands the way that different minerals affect each other. For example, if you think 80% of people are deficient in magnesium, so we all need to bring magnesium on board. Well, the problem is, if you don't look at your mineral pattern and notice that your magnesium is depleted, but then your sodium is flatlined. If your sodium is flatlined, that's really important, because that's one of the minerals. Sodium and potassium is the vitality ratio that sparks energy in your body. Then you don't know that when you take magnesium, you're going to push your sodium levels down even further if it's at a certain level of depletion. And so that's going to make everything worse, right? So conventional wisdom, or general understandings about how to build health, when it comes to minerals, it's more nuanced. And so you actually want to know what your unique levels are. You have people who say, I take magnesium and it's not helping me, and it's actually making me feel worse. Well, maybe it's because you have things that magnesium is pushing out of your body, forcing out, that's causing a depletion that you actually need to address first. And so that's just an example of how knowing the nuances of how minerals work, and how they either enhance each other, they either help bring each other up, or they start antagonizing, bringing down other minerals. And so it's kind of like Rubik's Cube. If you think about it, yeah, that's great that you're able to move, this cube to the white zone, but then what are you doing to the other? I don't know if everybody is into Rubik's Cubes, but it's like you have to look at it as a whole, not look at what you're doing with just one side of the cube, because when you change something, all of the other factors are connected and affected. And so one of the keys to finding the right practitioner is somebody who understands how the minerals interact with each other, and truly how to look at the Heritage Show Mineral Analysis Lab and interpret it properly. Because if they don't understand and didn't do any specific training, it's really going to go the wrong way for people. And so lack of training, and finding the right practitioner, and somebody who's been trained in a way that they understand the nuances. And the other thing that's really cool about minerals is that it talks about what your mind-body connection is. So basically, it not only talks about what's going on with your physiology, but also with your emotions and your psychology. It is actually a very unique blueprint to how you have been responding to life. And so that's why we really lean heavily on lifestyle factors when we are balancing our minerals. And a lot of it has to do with, your capacity and your nervous system regulation. One of the biggest things that depletes your minerals is your stress levels. And that includes, of course, your nervous system, which also informs whether you're in a state of the ability to recover, or you're always in that state of fight, flight, and having to do everything, do it all, hold it all together for everybody, being a caregiver and always being busy, busy, busy. Then you're not going to be receptive. Your physiology is not ready to be in the state of recovery. So mineral balancing is foundational, and before you are able to see the best results in whatever you're doing, balancing your minerals is really key. And you could do it, of course, alongside all these other things that you're working on, so you're able to see how these other interventions are affecting your minerals, so that you know if you're moving in the right direction. One of the first things that happens when people start getting your minerals balanced is that you're going to be able to see that your mood and your energy lifts. And then you are able to see that you're able to follow through on these other protocols and other things that you've been trying that haven't been working out. And it takes away the self-blame, because you're understanding that when you don't have the capacity to follow through on your self-care routine, it's not because you're lazy, it's not because of a character flaw, it's because you literally don't have the energy to follow through. Once you have the energy to follow through, things just come back online. So I hope that helps to kind of recap. Why are minerals not more talked about? Because they're not sexy. They're talking about foundation. So we're not chasing symptoms. We're saying at the foundation, is your body receptive to healing? And also, do you have the cellular energy to be motivated to follow through on the actions that you need? Habit changes, and following through on getting your sleep dialed in, getting your exercise on board, making food and focusing on being able to understand how nutrition is going to be helpful. You're not able to follow through on any of those things with a lot of consistency when you're exhausted. When you're exhausted, nothing feels good, right? And so the other thing is that, we're chasing symptoms, and also we're kind of glossing over the nuances of how minerals interact with each other. And so when you're able to actually see what's going on with your minerals, and you're able to, in a very methodical way, address the different balances with the mind body connection, not just with lifestyle, not just with food and supplements, then you're able to heal on a more integrative, holistic way, and that will be sustainable for life. So I hope this is helpful. If you want to find out more about what it actually looks like to get a hair tissue and mineral analysis run, I will include the case study below, and it'll give you a video more about minerals and their validity and what to look for in terms of practitioner. And also, another part of the video and the case study is really literally how a client, Anna, got her spark back, and how using the minerals to guide the way really makes a big difference. I'll also link below my Foundations to Fabulous mineral program to help you balance your minerals if you want to go ahead and run the lab and work with me, and I would be honored to do that. And so have a great day. Thanks for listening, and let me know if this is helpful, and if you have any questions, please post it below. All right, take care, and until next time, have a wonderful day.